John Frost looked on the gathered crowd, now 3,000 strong. With heavy heart, his voice rang loud as he sang this loveless song. God is a guide from field, from wave, from plough, from anvil, and from loom. We come our country's rights to save and speak a tyrant faction's doom. We raise the watchword liberty. We will be free. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order. And bobbies took an oath to be our nation's warders, swearing that they would enforce Sir Robert's Rules of Order. To Newport rose a million friends who rallied each supporter to join this flood of working men against Robert's Rules of Order. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order. Like this, on the steps of Parliament, John Frost stood proud and tall. A hush fell on this great event as he told them one and all, depose the gentry and the crown, depose the House of Lords, or join the Queen in exile by Robert's Rules of Order. So Chartists, Luddites, Communists, recall each faithful martyr who died so you could have your new world Robert's Rules of Order. Say it loud, vote your favor, shout it high. All in favor, you say aye. Favor, aye, favor, aye. A mandate of the people's cry. Favor, aye, favor, aye. Let's hear the opposition side. Like a stubborn donkey's bray. All opposed, you say nay. Opposed, opposed. The motion carries anyway. Currents change and bring to us our dear corrupted warder. In chains subdued and ill-abused, he's left with no supporters. Mobility's will can then proceed by our own rules of order, and we'll all cheer for country's sake when Robert's drawn in quarter. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament shall be reborn with Robert's Rules of Order.
Hey, so got guest host Laura Loomer today. I said to Mike, "You've lost weight. You look good. Did you get some work done?"
I was waiting for the next show.
Everyone was. Everyone was. This is Mike waiting for the LNC to become functional.
Yep. And the JC, for that matter.
Yeah, well, anything in the party right now, really, I think it's a race to the bottom, to be honest with you. Okay. Well, I'll talk to...
already hit bottom.
Okay, you're breaking up, so you gotta take Mr. Skeletor's place there.
Oh, come on! I can't do a voiceover.
No. But I like the hat.
Yeah.
The hat's good.
We
have people really looking forward to this topic. It actually is one that's near and dear to me as well. And Richard's got a new name. He's got a at Richard Brown Parliamentaria. Parliamentaria. That's where we're going to move, to the Republic of Parliamentaria. Okay. So this topic is one. Wow, that's some sexy hips you got there, buddy. Put some pants on. This is a family friendly show.
Oh, what's the matter? What's the matter? Don't you like my boners?
Oh, yeah, nice boners. Okay, I needed. That's what she said, but I have totally not.
That's what she said.
Brings back memories. So this topic is probably, maybe not, I think it might be my biggest pet peeve. Whenever I'm in a meeting and I hear somebody say that they want to table something, I start doing like the Forrest Whitaker I've got to bite my tongue and sit on my hands unless it's a group I want to be obnoxious to. But like if I'm just trying to be chill,
you want to go, don't do it wrong.
I'm just like, and okay, I gotta tell you a story, Mike. I think I told this to you before, but you might not remember. We're going back 10 years now. When I
Okay.
first joined the party, oh God. And I was on the bylaws committee. I can't remember his name. You'd know him if I heard his name. I don't think it was Mr. Legalized Beavers guy, which those jokes write itself. I think it was the Legalized Beavers guy who ran for
bro.
governor on the Beaver platform. Again, the jokes write
Which
themselves.
State?
I'm sorry?
Which state?
Colorado. His name, I guess, doesn't matter,
No, that's not ringing a bell.
Wayne, if Wayne's watching, he'll remember. So Wayne went to this bylaws committee meeting with me. I don't think he was even a registered libertarian yet, but I don't drive, where I try not to. So he had to take me everywhere. And we're in this restaurant and I'm with this guy, and he wants to change the bylaws to have there not be a board over the board that didn't have, like a board of trustees. And I know people have had that idea. That's fine, but they didn't have to be libertarians. And Wayne looks over at me and he sees that I'm like, yeah, he sees me going, and he clutches my hand.
Wasn't that at a meeting at a restaurant in South Denver?
Yes.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that. It was like at a restaurant right off of 25 in Colorado Boulevard.
And that's what I'm like whenever anyone says.
I remember the time. That wasn't Bennett, was it?
No. This guy ran for governor. He hasn't been around for a while. Wayne would remember his name. Anyway, yeah, he definitely is the Legalized Beaver guy.
I vaguely remember that meeting.
So anyway, that's how I feel about the misuse that we're going to talk about in the show. Before we get to the malicious misuse, let's just talk about the innocent misuse, because I've never seen it maliciously misused. In fact, I wasn't even aware it could be. You and I, a while back, had these old articles to look through. And I said, hey, there's this article about this malicious misuse. And we decided it'd be something fun for you and I to explore. We're not going through the article. And I don't mind saying it. You might be nicer. I don't care for the author. So I don't really want to go through. I want us to flush it out, because we might have our own ideas. But credit where credit is due. The idea did come from an article that was in some parliamentary journal, but we're going to go in maybe a little bit of a different direction. The innocent misuse, though, and I don't know where people got this from, particularly people who've been in the party for like ever.
Yeah.
And people say to me, oh, you get all upset like at these things being done wrong, but you know what you're doing. I'm like, do you want to know what I knew when I joined? Nothing.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, Mike, I read some standing rules you and I wrote for the LPCO like in 2017. They are so bad. I cannot even tell you how bad they are. I told the board, because they discovered them. They're like, oh, we need to follow these. They've never been rescinded. I'm like, rescind them. They're awful. Rescind them. They are bad.
We live, we learn, we grow,
These standing rules require that the seconder be noted in the minutes.
Holy cow.
I know. Why? What did we think a second meant at that time? Any event, I was embarrassed.
It was the idea of making sure it was captured on the record, but does it really matter? No.
And it doesn't matter because we're a small board too. So exactly. It doubly doesn't matter. It was bad.
Well, you know what? The moral of that story is, as good as we are, we screw up.
Oh God, the Douglas County bylaws were so bad too. Oh my God. And I still find things. Anyway, so people say, let's table that motion. And what they really mean, or what they're trying to accomplish, is things are getting into the weeds. We want to explore things further. We're not ready to talk about this yet. The motion, it's got some wonky language. It needs more workshopping, whatever it might be. They just mean
Yeah,
we don't want to deal with it now. It's not that it's bad. It's not like we've got to deal with something else first. It's just not ready for prime time. That's
yeah.
usually what it means.
Right.
But that's not tabling. Would you like
No,
to elucidate?
no. That actually is an attempt to either postpone to a definite time or a postpone indefinitely, depending upon which way you want to go with it. If you want to just say let it die in a fire, then it's just postponed indefinitely. But if you want to say move it off to another meeting, then you can say postpone to a definite time.
Or
But
even
it's
to the
not.
same meeting, but
Yeah, you
like
can just
if you're, say it's an LNC meeting and you're on Saturday and they think overnight you'd be able to work out the
yeah,
language, postpone it to Sunday morning at 9 a.m. or something like
right,
that. That's normally what it's used for. People are getting
right.
frustrated. They don't want to workshop the motion in the middle of debate. Move to table.
No, if you
I
need to
I love it.
workshop the motion, you move to commit it to a committee to let them figure it out and report it back.
Or
If you want to,
you postpone.
yeah, but if you want to put the brakes on it to say, hey, something else popped up, then you lay it on the table and then you would pick it up after the fact. That's perfectly legitimate.
What I loved, which I know you'll remember, because I think
Uh,
this actually happened at the Colorado Springs Massacre. We need a Colorado Springs Massacre T-shirt. Um,
go for that one.
um,
It's gonna be you holding a butcher knife over the old bylaws and me going
a
ah!
platform. I didn't fuck with the bylaws.
True, that's right. That's right. Still, same idea.
I want to look at our audio levels, so too, because I know sometimes I am way more than you. Well, I guess people could let us know in chat if I'm way louder than Mike. Let me know, because
That's because you
I.
never shut up.
Oh, well, that's true. Hold on, I got to turn the furnace off.
Yes,
Okay,
folks,
keep
I'm
for.
giving her a hard time.
So, at the Colorado Springs Massacre, the freedom of association plank, you know, I'm never going to get over this. I do think Eva Kozinski moved to table it until next convention, which you
Oh, geez.
can't do.
No, you
Even
can't do that
you can't do that anyway, even if that was used legitimately, because tabling it'll die if it's not taken up. If
before
the
Tiny Die.
it's going to be
Yes,
well, forget about even Sunny Die. Let's say that
it
let's
dies before Tiny
pretend
Die. Yeah,
yeah, it would have to be within a quarterly time period if the delegates said the
right.
same. But you're right, it would die Sunny Die too. Okay. I will be so bold as to say in 10 years, I have never seen a motion to table used properly. Have you?
To lay on the table.
Mm-hmm.
Only when I do it, but I've seen it a couple of times. Primarily when it's like, okay, we're in the middle of something and they realize they're missing some information. I had this happen in California once, and we moved to lay it on the table just so we could take a quick break. I think it was for lunch and come back with better information. But the order of the agenda had something else starting up right after lunch. So
I
we
would
moved to lay on
argue that's I would argue
well,
that's an
no,
improper use.
well, no, it was moved to lay on the table, and then we recessed for lunch. But our orders of the day upon reconvening had us do something else. And then after that, it was a motion made to take it from the table to pick up where we left off because there was still time remaining before the next item on the agenda because everything on that one was all time certain.
I still say that's an improper use.
Alicia thought it was okay.
Well, I
She was
normally
there.
agree with Alicia.
She was
I
there.
wasn't there. Oh, she was there.
No, Alicia was
Um,
there.
yeah, you could have moved to recess, and that would have stopped discussion. When you
Yeah,
came back from lunch, if you had a special order that had to be taken up at that time, you'd do that, and then you'd automatically go back to the item you were working on. So no motion to table was needed. And this was actually mentioned in this article. And this is where the author of the article disagreed with Roberts, and I tend to agree. And they said that Sturgis dealt with it differently. So according
okay.
to Roberts, there's only one proper use. Let's actually get it directly. There's only one proper use of the motion to table, and that is to lay the pending question aside temporarily when something else of immediate urgency has arisen, or when something else needs to be addressed before consideration of the pending question. So if you're going to take that technically, needing more information is
Yeah.
not a valid use of the motion to table. It is valid in Sturgis. It's not valid in Roberts. Roberts says only for that. Now, I disagree with Roberts there. I think needing more information should be a valid reasons, but it's not. Roberts kind of sucks with lay on the table. And in that article, there was some author of a work I'd never heard of that basically said that they didn't use these words, but basically Roberts screws the pooch when it comes to laying on the table.
There's a lot of
So,
things that Weber screwed the pooch on.
So with that in mind, though, so put that example aside. With that very narrow definition in Roberts, have you ever seen it used properly?
With that definition, no.
I don't think I have. I mean, I'm
And I
trying to
think
think.
people tend to shy away from it too. So
And no shade on, listen, all Colorado boards have done this. So yeah, maybe there is a little shade on our current board, but if there is, it's on all boards, including when Wayne was chair. It happens all so much at Colorado board meetings. I mean, when you were a parliamentarian, not that you allowed it, I saw you give the twitch when someone would be like, "Well, I want to table this motion." No, that's not it. That's
yeah,
that's not how. Okay,
I've
so
had to
that's
I've had to
the
cut Alabama on that a little bit every once in a while. So
yeah. So that's the innocent misuse. So the tip for everyone out there: if you think the words "I want two tables," that's a really informal way to say it, even if it's valid. I mean, it's okay, but if you want to sound a little bit more like you know what you're doing, you move to lay the motion on the table.
yes,
That's the more prim and proper, pinky out, drinking your cup of tea way to
yeah,
say it. But if you ever feel the twinge to use this motion, ask yourself if it meets that narrow requirement. If it doesn't, what you are really trying to do is postpone it, either
yeah,
definitely or indefinitely, or perhaps, as Mike said, commit it. I think
yeah.
commit is used not enough.
No, it's not. Especially when we fall into the habit, especially in small committees, of trying to wordsmith out a motion before we actually move it. When the way that Roberts is designed, and I disagree with this design thing, is that they want you to make the motion and go through all the amendment process to wordsmith it and sort it out. However, they
Or
also give the
commit it.
tool. Yeah, well, they give the tools of either committing it to get it worked out, or informal discussion before the fact, or committee of the whole, or semi-informal, all semi-committee, quasi committee, those three things as well. If you want to work it through that way, but for a small committee, that just gets to the point where it's getting a little bit goofy because you're going through a lot of formalities to arrive at the same conclusion. If you just say let's talk this out and figure it out first. Because
And what
I'll be
drives
real.
me crazy, this isn't a parliamentary thing. This is a people thing because people are way
Yeah,
too peoply. It's you bring a motion, and
yeah,
half the committee or board, they don't really give a shit about it. maybe this is a libertarian thing, but they just got to get their opinion. And even though they really do not even give a shit, but there's a specific person I have in mind whose name I'm not going to mention, who wants to move this or change this word just for the sake of changing this word. And I'm like,
oh, I gave you a list of people like that.
yeah, but there's
And
one in particular.
Probably the person you're thinking of is on that list.
I bet you they're number one.
And
and I'm gonna do what's that song? If you think the song is about you, yeah.
You're so vain.
It
Yeah,
probably is.
No, I think the first initials are AS, but anyway.
So, no,
You'll never
actually,
tell.
no, I'm
No,
thinking of somebody else. No, I'm thinking of somebody else.
not RL. Okay.
We're gonna just zip it at this point. Okay. In any event, so that's the innocent misuse. What we want to talk about now, which never even occurred to me, and I'm supposed to be like this parliamentary demon. If you ask like the people who are still mad at me for being a Mises, which I've repented for already, this never would have occurred to me. Now that we're saying it, though, I kind of don't want to say it because I think this is going to give bad actors.
You don't want to give anybody any ideas.
Yes, but we're going to propose a solution as well, a special rule of order that I love. Okay. So, if you wanted to defeat a motion without debate, and it's a debatable motion, that normally would take a 2/3 vote, at least to end debate.
Correct.
Okay, under Roberts.
Yes.
But you could maliciously use the motion to table, which is non-debatable and non-amendable, to take the motion out of the game and end debate with a majority vote.
Right. That's true.
And then it takes a majority vote to take it back off the table. Now, some people may say if you don't have the majority to take it off, you probably weren't going to win the motion anyway, but that's kind of besides the point. There was still a right to debate it. So you are squashing debate, killing the motion and squashing debate. You could do that with only a majority vote by misusing the motion to lay on the table. Now, way Rob...
I want to interrupt you for a second because 17-2 and Roberts. I don't know if you're going there or not, but I'm going to go there right now. Okay. Because it actually talks about exactly what you're saying.
Yes.
I'm just going to rattle it off here. I have it on my screen off to my side here. By adopting the motion to lay on the table, a majority has the power to halt consideration of a question immediately without debate, which we're talking about. Such action violates the rights of the minority and individual members if it is for any other purpose than the one stated in the first section of this section, which is to interrupt the pending business so as to permit doing something else immediately. In ordinary assemblies, the motion to lay on the table is not in order if the intent is to kill or avoid dealing with a measure. If a time for resuming consideration is specified in making the motion, it can be admitted only as a motion to postpone, in which case it is debatable.
Right. So what that means, and you omitted a word, but that's okay because we do that all the time, but I actually think this omission was important. If the evident intent is to kill. Well,
true.
Somebody who's doing this maliciously, they're not about to admit it. Hey, I'm about to screw you all over with the motion. So a chair, and of course a certain person just quoted one of my posts at the Roberts Forum. Of course they did. Let me take this off my screen. I know. Whatever. You can't force people not to interact with you when you don't want to interact with them. That's just being a good person. You can't force people to do that. In any event, person's not going to admit that they're pulling this. So
No.
the chair would have to say,
that's a guaranteed recipe to fail.
yeah, the chair is going to say, it looks like there's nothing urgent going on here. There's nothing that we need to take care of right away. I'm ruling this out of order because it appears to me that the evident intent is to do these bad things. But
Right.
what the flaw is, if the person's doing this with bad intent, they're pretty sure they have a majority.
Yeah.
Unless it's just barely a majority, because you start getting into the negative vote carrying something, and the chair rules it out of order, they'll just appeal the ruling of the chair, and they can
Right.
still get away with it as long as they have the one
that
more negative. Now, if it's really tight, they might
a
not.
majority also, right?
Right. So this is a big flaw, I
Yeah.
do think, in Roberts for a bad actor.
Yeah.
So
The
now
solution,
at
least
yeah,
I see a solution, but go ahead, keep going.
Well, go with your solution, because I'm going to go with a solution from a different parliamentary authority.
Okay. Well, my solution is simple. When they do the next issue of Roberts, or if we do a special rule of order, which says that a motion to lay on the table requires a 2/3 vote
That would be
instead
one way to handle it.
instead of the majority, because then it puts lay on the table, postpone indefinitely, and objection to consideration of the question all at the same thresholds. And I believe postpone definitely is a majority, if I remember right. But it takes that guerrilla shortcut of a majority to try to kill something completely off the table.
But the shortfall, so let me push back, is that if there really is something urgent, but you have a different kind of bad actor that's just trying to weigh down proceedings and stuff, and
Yeah.
you won't have the 2/3, even though clearly a majority. So I'm talking about when you don't have somebody's not
Yeah.
trying to kill the motion, you make it more difficult for a good faith majority to go, we really do have something urgent. We need to put this aside for a second.
That's a fair statement.
So I'm going to suggest the solution. We are digging up an old work here. And again, this was mentioned in that article. I bought this book because of the mention in that article. And this is an old parliamentary authority. I'm sure the old hands at parliamentary stuff will tell me that I'm mispronouncing this name, like I did with Demeter, which I was saying Demeter. In any event, I am pronouncing this Longan. Is that correct? Longan? Longan's. Oh,
Richard
this
Brown
smells musty.
Yeah, old books do that.
Oh my God. I just got this from Amazon. So keep this away from my nose. This is nasty. Longan's Parliamentary Rules.
Old books do smell musty.
And these parliamentary ones are all these little tiny ones. They look like little prayer hymnals. Anyway.
This one, well, they do. This one is actually interrupting you again. This one is Parliamentary Practice, an Introduction to Parliamentary Law, General Robert. Copyright 1921 and 1949. So I found this in a store out here. I grabbed it because I was like, wait a minute.
And there is a question in chat we're going to come back to. But first, let me give you my potential solution. Well, it's not mine. It's the one that's suggested in Longan's, okay?
Yeah.
They handle tabling. Here I am using the informal. Laying on the table nearly the exact same way. I don't think it's quite as strict the reasons as in Roberts, but that isn't really the point I want to get to. Where they solve the problem is by changing the vote threshold and moving to take something up from the table. They say in order to take it up from the table, as long as more than 1/3 want to take it back up again, it can be taken back up again. So it kind of does the 2/3, but on the other end. So while a majority can lay it on the table, as long as more than 1/3 want to take it back up, it comes back up. So it keeps you from killing it with less than 2/3.
Interesting.
Now, you
I
could
think of,
word that differently so it's not a negative vote that carries type of thing, but you see what I'm saying? It's kind of like a rule can't be suspended by less than the number of people or percentage, whatever it might be, fraction of people whose rights it's protecting. It's kind of the same concept. And I like that solution because it gives you the freedom in the beginning to really quickly put something on the table, but you can't kill it without that 1/3 versus 2/3 thing, that the
unless
minority is still
unless
protected.
unless you move to adjourn.
But you can always do that.
Yeah.
That's not unique
There's
to a
always
motion to table.
the point is, though, there's always a loophole somewhere.
Yeah, but I think that's a good solution if an assembly starts finding themselves with a tricky dicky that keeps trying to pull this, that you have a
Yeah.
special rule of order that incorporates it in some way. If you don't like the awkwardness of as long as more than 1/3 wish to take it up. I mean, you could word it in several different ways. You could word the question that the chair puts in the positive or in the negative, but you get the idea that you are doing the 2/3 thing, but on the back end. And I think that's a really clever way to do it.
I just had a weird thought pop into my head.
Is it because I said back end? Get your mind
No,
out of the gutter.
no, it has nothing to do with that at all. They make a motion to take it from the table, and then someone moves to lay that motion on the table.
I don't think you can though, because I think can't you only lay what are the classes of motions that you could
Uh,
lay on the table?
it can be applied to main motions or with any other subsidiary motions that may be pending, which means it can be applied to orders of the day, questions of privilege. Um, it can be
So
made while order
it can
limited
be
debate order for previous question is in force also.
because this adhering motions go to the table with it, but there has to be a main motion.
If the
But
motion to
let's
win the
answer.
table can be applied only to questions that are actually pending, a class or group of main questions such as orders of the day, unfinished business, or committee reports cannot be laid on the table as a unit.
It has to be one at a time.
Right. It doesn't specifically mention. Well, it mentions that take of the table is closely related.
You should ask that in the Roberts Forum. That would be fun.
That'd be a hilarious question. Yes,
Yeah, that would be fun. But let's answer
because
this question.
theoretically, if it's allowable, then to pardon the D&D MTG references, you could then create an infinite stack of lay on the table, take from the table, lay that on the table, take that from the table, lay that on the table, etc. ad infinitum until the point people are going, "What the hell are we doing here?" Okay, the question in the chat: if an item is tabled, can it come back in the same meeting? The answer is yes.
And it usually does if
Yeah,
it's legitimately tabled.
yeah,
But that brings up the other question though. What if it's not brought back the same
yeah.
meeting? That's what I was trying to get to before. Let's read that exact rule. So yes, it can be brought back up the same meeting. Um, it can be brought it can be brought back and defeated that it not come back up, and that motion can be renewed again that same meeting. So
Yeah.
so that's why it can't be reconsidered. But let's look here about when it dies.
17.8, I believe.
A question that has been laid on the table remains there and can be taken from the table during the same session,
Right.
or if the next regular business session will be held before a quarterly time interval has elapsed, also until the end of that next regular session. If not taken from the table within these time limits, the question dies, although it can be reintroduced later as a new question. So, yeah. Okay. So, I'm really interested in exploring a special rule of order to stop
Also
uh, this.
for freedom for Freedom's reference, also take a look at if he has a copy of Roberts. 34.3 has more information on it too, besides the
Let me
1780.
look at that. I'd be really interested if you asked that question though with the Roberts Forum. I haven't really been asking questions there because you know why. Let's see
Okay,
here.
34.3 just repeats what we just said.
Yeah.
Then it goes on. As long as a question remains on the table, any member can move to take it from the table at a regular meeting, including a meeting that is an adjournment of a regular meeting. At a special meeting, however, a question can be taken from the table only if A has been laid on the table earlier at the same session, or B, the call of a special meeting specifies either the particular question that lies on the table or its subject matter. Which means
That's interesting.
gotta
I
keep close score around here.
okay, okay, that's confusing me though, because the time limits before were same session. We agree upon that. Or
Right.
if the next regular meeting, now regular, not special, is going to take place within a quarter, it can be at that session.
Right.
So is what this is saying is if there's a special meeting in between the one in which it was laid on the table and the next meeting, which is within a quarterly time period, if a special meeting is called in between there, it can be taken up then as long as it's specified in the call of the meeting, which would make sense.
It has to be germane to the meeting, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what they're saying there. Yeah.
But it could what's it, hopscotch that special meeting. Like say you had a October 1st, you had a regular meeting. Your next regular meeting is November 1st. You call a special meeting on October 15th. It doesn't mention that tabled item. That doesn't matter. That intervening meeting is like it didn't really matter because it was the next regular meeting.
Well, if it's a next regular meeting, yeah. If it's a next special meeting,
Yeah.
it's not mentioned. They can't touch it.
Right.
And they just
exactly.
had it on the LNC this past week with
yeah, I'm not even getting it.
going into it.
There's a whole Roberts thread on it that's really interesting, actually. But it's about whether the executive. It's a very interesting thread.
I'm not going to make any comments on it because, for all I know, that's going to wind up being the next appeal of the JC for no good reason.
Who knows? and I have to tell you, I'm not commenting anymore because,
it's a mess.
Was there? Did I send you the fuck budget text? Was I the one that sent? Did I send that to you or to somebody else?
I think to somebody else.
Oh wait, I gotta look at.
Wait a minute! There was the video about the video of the guy playing the little guitar in I have no.
No. It was just I was talking with somebody about some LP stuff, and then like mid conversation, I just didn't care anymore.
For those people who wonder what I'm talking about, go YouTube No Fucks to Give and look for the guy with the little ukulele playing the song and prepare to laugh your ass off.
Yeah, it was to somebody else. We were in mid talking about something. I said, you know what? I'm like, I don't care. My fuck budget's empty.
That's one of the lyrics of that song.
I was like, yeah, this could be an important question. I just realized I don't care.
Anyway.
And that's where I'm at with this.
That aside.
And that's where I'm at with this credentials thing. I'm tending to agree with which I didn't before. I did, and if Paul is listening to this, I did talk to Paul. Yeah, I did talk to Paul, and at first I thought it was okay for the executive committee, and then I got convinced otherwise. And I told him I don't think there was any good answers. You all just need to like own up to the fact that you blew the deadline, and then see what the best answer is at that point. But at that time, I thought it was okay for the executive committee, and now I don't think so. But I also realize I really don't care. I don't care one way or another. It doesn't. I don't care. I care more about people wrongly using the motion to table than I do about the dysfunctional LNC. I
Could you imagine?
honestly,
Could you imagine what would have happened if someone had moved to lay that on the table?
and let me tell you, the freedom
Tied together in a
of
really bizarre
not.
manner.
Were you just? Never mind. I'm not going to say.
I was tying things together here.
Were you scissoring?
No, this is not scissoring. This is scissoring.
Mike, this is a family-friendly show. Okay.
Are there any family?
Anyway, look, you're making me turn bright red.
Good. Make you match your hair.
And we could tell that you're in Bama and I'm in Colorado because you got a T-shirt on and I got one of these, the Colorado specials where you do this.
I have sleeves like that, but I usually wear them when dealing with poison ivy.
Oh no, Richard, we weren't asking. We were just joking around. Okay, so I think that's it for the tabling stuff. Unless let's give it a few minutes.
The
See
question
if
for Richard was, how do you pronounce that name?
what Longren, yeah,
Yeah,
or Longen. This book. God, this stinks. Woo! It's the same size as Cushing's. It's little and cute, but this one
like it's
smells
about the same
bad.
size as that parliamentary law one I have from General Roberts. So
I got a big ass parliamentary law one. Haven't read that from cover to cover yet, but probably will.
yeah, that's light reading in the hot tub.
Okay. Oh, speaking of hot tubs, while we're waiting to see if there's more questions, this isn't about a hot tub, but it's kind of about a hot tub. So I don't know what you guys are doing over Thanksgiving. Wayne and I are going to Mount Princeton, the hot springs there.
Okay.
Just letting you know if you care.
That's cool. Nothing wrong with that.
We're not staying overnight. We're just going to do the go in the daytime, thing. We're going on the cheap, but it will
Get the couples massage while you're there and pamper yourself a little bit.
I just want to go lay in that stream that has the natural hot springs. I've wanted to do that ever since we passed by there. So it's a cheap outing. The only problem is we can't bring the dogs. But Lucy still doesn't drive well. The minute we put her in the car, she thinks she's getting given away. And she starts crying the most pitiful thing.
Some dogs just hate travel. I mean, Apollo was that way until he's finally settled down and realized, oh, we're not giving him up. We're just going somewhere. And then
she's down here. I'm petting her. I don't think she hates the car. It's just she's had bad experiences. Sure. Car rides haven't turned out well for her in the past. So,
yeah, I get it.
It's going to be rough when we do go camping and it's a 4-hour drive there, because if she cries like that the whole way, I'm going to be like, no.
Give her a gummy to help.
Yeah, have to give her a gummy.
I just said. Give her.
Okay, I think that's it. Anyone have any questions? I don't think so. Let me just go back through here and see if there's nothing that we missed. So
no, Gene, you should not be watching Debbie Does Dallas. You should be coming over to my house over Thanksgiving like we've asked you to.
That came out the wrong way.
No, his comment says, what the heck is this? My TV must be broke. I'm supposed to be watching Debbie Does Dallas.
Does he live in Bama now too?
Tennessee. He's about an hour and a half from us.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's up to you now to probably.
We escaped him from California. We sprung.
You're gonna need to come up with a name. You keep interrupting me. I'm gonna have to fly over there and kick you right in the booty.
Do it. We're trying to get you to come out here anyway.
you're gonna have to come up with the next topic, probably.
The next topic. Okay, I'll have to think about that.
Yeah. So that's your assignment, should you choose to accept it. And now it's hot tub time. I promise Wayne. All right, so that's it for this evening. I hope everyone has an awesome night. And yeah, I'm going to the hot tub, and I don't know what you're gonna do.
I've got to get ready to go to work tomorrow, so
Yeah, me too.
nice
But
short week this week. And besides the man child is home for the week on his break, so
oh yeah, that's right.
yeah.
Okay, I hope you have a good night, Mike. I'm gonna be throwing you off and doing the closing music here.
Have a good one,
All right.
everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Viva! Let's hear the opposition side. Like a stubborn donkey's bray. All opposed? You say nay. Opposed! Opposed! The motion carries anyway.